Okay,
Are you good?
I am just about good.
Okay, we
Mhm.
can still. Da, 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 da.
Now we're good, I'm in.
No.
Um, here we are. We're good.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's call the order at 6:03.
6:03.
Okay, sounds great. Public comment period, no members of the public. Would anyone like to add anything to the agenda? We had talked about expanding old business E to also include a water quality educational outreach opportunity. So that's something I have to add.
Should we add? Okay, so
So now I think we do bears is like EA and then EB could be water quality educational outreach.
okay.
Cause that came up just, what, a day or two ago? It was really recent. Okay. And then can we review and approve the minutes on December 11th? We do have a quorum, which is exciting. So we are able to do that if someone would like to make a motion about that.
I wrote them, so I can't write.
I have no idea what the rule is, frankly.
Happy to make a motion.
Well, I mean, if you believe in your own work, like you're like, this is quality stuff.
I mean, it's the minutes. I'm probably the only one who read them. I'll make a motion to approve my own minutes.
Great. Would anyone like a second for motion?
I will second that.
Great. Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes of September 11th?
Aye.
Oh, great. The ayes have it. Okay, so we'll approve those minutes. Thank you. Correspondence. I only received a few things that will come up in the flow, but there are still 2 letters for Kristen in the mailbox.
Thank you.
And then also an application for Gail to join the Conservation Commission that is like stamped. That says received. It was just in our mailbox. So this whole process has been very frustrating. I don't even know why it's in our mailbox. But it is. So, I'll have to follow up on that. I don't know what to do about that exactly. So that's the only other piece of mail we have. Gail's form, I'm gonna write a note about that. Okay, so that's the only correspondence and it wasn't that interesting. All right, now on to new business. So the new business item tonight, is supposed to be a discussion with Frida Powers, but she does not appear to be in attendance. So we will have to table that. If she comes later in the meeting, maybe we could bring that back up. But I don't have an email from her or anything, so I don't know. Great. Let's start with old business then. BCC membership. Great. So this is Gail's form we're back at. So Gail is not here right now, and Gail has tried to be a member of the BCC, and has not. She came to our meeting, I think, for 2 or 3 months now, and has still not become a member. For a while, it was the email wasn't being replied to by the town. I think there was a lot of turnover recently, and so there's some administrative hurdles there. And then I think that it sounded like from an email I got that maybe Gail couldn't attend the select board meeting, but I wasn't positive as to somehow she still has not talked to the select board yet and wasn't sure if she should even come to this meeting or not. I told her, of course, come. So I don't know why she isn't here. Because we had emailed about that as well. So I'm not really sure the status, but for all intents and purposes, as far as I know right now, she does still plan to be a member if the town will approve her and get the paperwork done, although I am worried that she's not at this meeting right now and that I hope she's not frustrated with the process. So that's all I have to report there. And we've done some follow-up emails and phone calls, and it's just they're very busy right now with the new administrator. Okay, great. Well, if there's no comments on that, that'll take us to Bristol Pond Dam, continued discussion. Is there continued discussion? What are our thoughts?
I don't know if anyone
someone
else has heard
saying.
anything, but I heard that Helen Young had called Alex because she noticed that they'd started draining. But it's
Oh, really?
the entirety of my.
Hey, post soccer.
Good. It was the party practice, I guess. So it was just a lot of running followed by a lot of candy.
Were you the T-Rex group? Or was that just in the fourth grade?
I don't know what that
The
means, so
T-Rex.
definitely.
See those blow up costumes, the T-Rex? It was
Yeah.
one of those at the third
Oh.
floor.
Oh, really? No, I didn't even see that.
It's the last day. Okay, great. We were just skipping around some things. Where our plan was to have a major business item of our meeting was when we talked to Frida Powers. She hasn't arrived yet, so we're just gonna move on with the other old business until she comes, or we'll table that to our time. So we're talking about Bristol Pond Dam, because I think was just about to start talking about it. Where's your at?
Yeah, so all I know is that Helen Young called Alex about the fact that it was starting to be drained. And that is the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. Does that have to do with the thing Alex wants to talk to us about, or is that different?
No, it's completely different.
Is that something that's been in the agenda somewhere?
It can be in the events portion. For like the
Great.
next meeting sort of thing. It
Great.
would be more that he would be a guest speaker in,
That sounds
or not a
great.
guest speaker, a guest.
That sounds great. Okay.
Future.
Cool. I just wanna make sure we didn't miss that item. Okay. Okay, so then, so that means, and what else do I think to say about the Bristol Pond Dam? We don't know.
That is all I know.
Okay, moving on. Does anyone have any parks updates? Normally this is something Aiden would speak about. He's unable to make it tonight. So we have, the Sycamore Park Trails updates we were hoping to talk about. Then, but I don't know if that's been done or not. He also told us we would talk about the Memorial Park bench, which is not here for. I didn't receive any emails about that, if anyone else did either. Okay. The management plans for Lord's Prayer Rec and Seth Hill. Kristen, that was when you were working on.
Yes, and I just haven't found time in my life to make the final edits to the Seth Hill. But I will fit that in as soon as possible and share those both with the new administrator and ask for time on a select board meeting for their review and approval of the plans. Also, there has been some discussion at recent select board meetings about Seth Hill and the fact that the major forest road crosses a property other than that owned by town of Bristol. And I'm going off memory here, but there are select board meeting minutes that folks can refer to for the details. But I believe that there's discussion about removing or modifying the work that was done on that US Forest Service road to make it more passable. And therefore, so that Don Gale can access his leased taps on the Forest Service property. But again, I'm hopefully I remembered that correctly, but there have been several discussions at recent select board meetings, and I'm trying to compile that information as well in order to reflect that updated information in the Seth Hill plan.
Sense, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So do you think that you would want to talk about that in November, or is that more of a December item? Just so I know for planning. I don't care. I just want to know how to, I don't know what to bother you with again.
No. December might be the best target because I'll have a week over the Thanksgiving holiday to get caught up on the plan for Seth Hill.
I mean, we've got like a countdown to November 19th, because I figure by the 19th you can see the break coming, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Like
Yep.
where our is headed, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, that sounds good. Does anyone have any other updates about the parks? I think you've noticed, everyone's been at the parks. The drought has been very interesting anecdotally. I've been out there many days the last week. Where the river has been so low.
Yeah, it's been-
Where we have the gauge, they said, was the lowest it had been in the recorded history a couple of weeks ago. We did get an inch of rain on Tuesday, and the river went really high, and already it's back down again. So,
Wow.
it's gonna be all the way back down again in a couple of days. It doesn't rain. It'll rain next week though,
It
so
looks like there's
we'll
the
see.
rain in the
yeah,
forecast next week.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's been wild out there and we've been sailing the rivers around Addison County and it's just like really interesting, like pollution.
Rocks.
Yeah, it's just rocks. We can't get the nets deep enough to do the sampling and
Wow.
lots of like pollution tolerant taxa too, because of the
Mhm.
rivers dried up and it's, you know, it's warmer, it's slower, the light can penetrate, there's a little more algae.
Interesting.
And then any pollution, if the water evaporates, it just gets more saline, more sediment and runoff, so it's not as high quality water, and so it's been really interesting.
Yeah.
And so I feel like all excited about it from the science perspective, it's like actually environmentally
And
horrible,
it's
but like.
sad. Yeah.
My students sometimes yell and they're like, Professor Dash, that was not actually a very good thing. I'm like, are you sure it's a climate change? I'm like, but it's interesting. but horrible.
Yeah.
There's a nice beaver dam on the Nahaven River spanning the full width of the river, just about where Shackett's picnic area is. It's visible from 116, so it's kind of fun to see it. And it weathered this recent rainfall event that we had. So
I saw that because it was like a little waterfall coming over the dam.
yeah, yeah,
There, that was really cool.
Oh,
pretty
fun.
cool.
I wonder if that'll in the future make an interesting swimming hole there.
Yeah, that could be nice.
I had a beaver come right up to a boat I was in recently. I had a peaceful moment on a boat, which I don't usually have because my kids and husband were in a different boat. And I was enjoying listening to beavers talk in a lodge, and suddenly one was just coming straight at me, and it was coming
Whoa.
up an angle that seemed like it could just like leap straight into my boat, and I was just like, just like right at the edge of the boat, swung and slapped as hard as it could and splashed me in the
That's
boat.
hilarious.
It was quite an experience. But that was up at Goshen Dam.
But any park updates like that? Anecdotal fun at the parks, anything else happening? No. Okay. I guess we'll move on. And we'll just leave that as a standing business item. Roger, you want to talk about your email?
It went out. I hit send.
You did, and you did get a response, right?
I don't know if you wanna
Yeah, okay.
follow
I
up.
don't know why,
With somebody
me probably
other
would do
than me.
anything, but I can
Well,
try.
just to have a different voice.
Kristen, do you want to email?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I
maybe
think you were
they
on that
can't-
thread.
Are you on it?
Regarding the progress on the Hogback Trail system.
Did you see Roger as we discussed in our last meeting, Roger sent a sort of nudge email to say, you know, we're still
Yeah.
here. And there was no response.
Okay. I think maybe it might be worth asking Meredith and
Okay.
or Ken Johnson to get an update.
He is on that email thread,
Okay.
but I can look back at who else on that thread. It's
Is Meredith on that thread? Yeah.
need to look.
Or
Well,
Bristol Rec?
oh no, I don't believe so. Here we go.
Could you maybe forward it to Meredith and then rec director and then just say, oh, I didn't hear from this. You had brought this to our attention. Like, we'd like to continue this conversation. Is there a way you could help us, you know, get in touch or continue that? Maybe that'd be a nice way to start that. That's a nice idea. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, let me just see who else on there. Yeah, she is on there. It is Kristen, rec director, Ken, Porter, Carolyn, Samantha, and me. So, I mean, it's a fairly hefty
Yeah.
reply all chain on there.
It may be a situation where everyone thinks the other person is going to respond, you know?
Nobody is though. The last time I got a response was July 12th. I followed up on the 22nd and then October 1st. So,
I'd be happy to reach out to Porter too, who might have an update for us.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna continue trying to just keep nudging until we can get just something, just so we know where we stand on that. That would be great.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've hit a brick wall from
Okay,
the
sure.
contact I have. Yeah.
Okay, and then does anyone else have any updates? Have you read anything, know anything about it? Since we have other ways of knowing right now. Okay. Great. So that brings us unbelievably quickly to the educational outreach on
I know.
goals.
Yeah, so the event is on the 21st at 7 o'clock. I've got flyers that I was hoping to bring in some of in case people had places that they wanted to put them, but I was out of colored ink. So, I'm gonna put flyers around. Caitlin's gonna put it up on Front Porch Forum. If anyone else thinks of anywhere that would be good to advertise or anyone to reach out to, please either do that or tell me and I'll do that. If anyone wants to put up posters anywhere that they can think of, I was gonna hit the spots in town and maybe some of the other towns around.
Send it to Jenny Utter to put in the principal's notes.
See what I
That goes
got.
out to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
okay.
educational, bear talk, like my sticker in there, or a teacher might wanna put it, tell their class to go.
If you email us the file to print, we
Mhm.
could print out flyers
Okay, I will do
ourselves.
that.
It's here, right?
Yep, it's at Valley Hall, 7 o'clock on the 21st.
And how is that working in terms of logistics?
So I booked it starting at 6:30, so that we could, or earlier than that, 6 o'clock, so we could set up. One thing I wanted to ask you guys is when you've done talks there in the past, is there a projector? Do you know?
Yes,
Okay, so, maybe maybe I'll ask Aiden for a rundown beforehand of.
Aiden is the guru for that, yep.
Okay, and then, yeah, and then I said on there that we would need a PA system. No idea how many people will go, but set up chairs and, yeah, are there any volunteers to come help set up?
Yeah, I can set up.
Yeah, me too.
Great.
Yeah.
In the past, when we've done events like a talk about bobcats or the Vins came and did raptors, eagles and all that, we get more than 100 people. So that's you could kind of plan on setting out 100 chairs, I would say.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right,
And the way we've done it is had like an aisle down the middle and then I don't know how many, 6 or 8 or something on each side going back,
Yeah.
or 10, I don't know,
so
whatever.
there's aisles on each side.
In the middle and the sides,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of chairs on either side of that, and then in the middle is where the projector has to go.
Yeah,
Right, so the screen, so that's the reason they have an aisle, so the projector can
Mhm.
sit in the middle without blocking people's view.
and this reminds me, actually, I was going to check with Caitlin about. If she
What
has a
was that?
PowerPoint, I assume she has a PowerPoint probably, but I don't know that, so I gotta ask her, actually, I'll do that right now.
And then did we do
But-
donations or something? I don't remember how we did it last one, it was a long time
So
ago.
she said that she's good with doing it for free.
Okay,
Because I said, are you okay with just doing it by donation? And she said, no, this is free. And she even put it, so she then wrote up a blurb that she felt like would advertise the event
okay,
and made sure it said on there free to the public.
Beautiful.
So,
okay.
I guess
And you're
that's-
sure that Aiden and Meredith did the reservations such that we're not paying the whole,
Yes.
right? Cause we are the town, okay. so sure.
It said on the reservation, it like had thing and then said minus that for.
Okay, good, okay,
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure,
So.
just make sure the bookkeeping was right, you know.
Anything else? Yeah, I'll send out. I'll send out the flyer. I'll write Jenny and then I'll start just putting it around and. Anyone else put it around? I made sure that the background was white so that it wouldn't take a ton of colored printer ink or anything. I'll put it up at the co-op too. Feel like that might get people. Yeah, so just spread the word.
Cool, do you plan to do like a little intro or something?
Hadn't gotten there.
Okay.
Just gonna be like, well, that's true now.
Think of that. Cause then you might wanna ask
Yeah.
them for like a blurb, so you know what to say to introduce her.
Yeah, that's a good
Cause
idea.
you can just have it and be like, let me, or, oh, she does this
Mhm.
and that, and she's from this place, and then thank people for coming, and at the end, you can do questions, and at the end, thank them for coming,
Mhm.
and then tell people to put their chair away.
Mhm.
Love it, okay? No, seriously.
Put your chairs away.
And then, oh, thank you so much, this is such a great event, if you wouldn't mind, like.
Don't they all have to stack on that? Aren't they the stacking?
I don't know, I
They
just
are,
feel like if
yeah.
there's 100 people,
There's-
that's a lot. of work. If half the people are cheerleading, that's a lot less for us to do.
They're stackables, yep.
Just trying to
Is
think of.
Do we
maybe
wanna
more.
use that, do we need more members? Do we wanna use that opportunity to say, by the way, we're looking for,
If Gail joins, if they let her join, and if she still is interested in joining after they put her through the ringer, then we're full.
She went
Okay.
through the.
got it,
It's been months and they won't it's not working somehow.
She went to the select board meeting and all?
No, they just can't get her at a select board meeting. It's like it's been lots of emails that are like nudging, like, anyone, did you get this? And then I think she might have had another thread that I wasn't on, and then maybe she couldn't go the day they wanted her to go, so it's got me of errors now.
Just
So I just
crash
feel
it, just like
bad.
show up and be like, hey,
I know.
wasn't I on the agenda?
I just hope she isn't burnt out on it and still has a join, that's all.
Yeah,
But as far as I know, if she still has a join, then we'll be fine to to be full. So we don't actually need a member right now. Even though it says we have a vacancy. Okay, well, that sounds awesome and very straightforward, so you did a lot of work on that, thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else about that we need to think about? Is that it? It feels so easy. I guess if Aiden's there too, he can help us lock up the doors and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be staying the whole time or if
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
it's all pretty straightforward. I've got an event there on Sunday as well, so like I should be familiar with.
Okay, like I don't know how to lock the door.
Okay.
I know how to do this door. I don't know how to do the halls.
Yeah, can you do some reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
thinking.
projector, yeah, let me know. like,
Right,
the
yeah,
projector
cause we have the
is slanted
projector
or
set
something.
up. I thought the AV guys brought so it's for World Singing Day, and last
Oh.
year, I just struck it last year, I didn't see how they set it up, but I'll be there for setup and strike this year, so
Okay.
I'll get the load in.
Figure out what to do with the
Sweet.
front door. There's like a bolt in the ceiling or something. I don't know. I've seen people do something.
Let's get a chain and then run out the back
Yeah.
door.
Not use the side door, so.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know if like the code for VC works on that door, like I don't know the system,
Yeah.
so, okay,
Yeah, and sort that out.
great, thank you for doing that. Okay, that'll be lovely, and it's going to 7 to 8, is that right? Or
7 to 8.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool, okay, does everyone feel good about that? Awesome, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah,
Should we move on to our added agenda item, which was water quality?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start that off so you can gather thoughts and type. So, I received an email just a couple days ago after the agenda went out, that's why we're adding it to this agenda item, from Kate Kelly from the Lewis Creek Association. She says that she's ready to offer to provide a presentation to your town on water quality ahead of the storm, is the name of the talk. And what landowners or town boards can do to their own properties to improve water quality. This can be tailored to fit your town target audience message as you see fit. Please let me know if you'd like to host a presentation this winter or spring. We can discuss and get something on the calendar. I'm also happy to come to your Warner Conservation Commission meetings to discuss this or other partnerships. Thank you, Kate. And then I just forward to Zaylee. Oh, everyone. I just read an email you already read. Well, now you all read it twice. And then Zaylee said, ooh, great idea. So that's where we're at.
Okay,
That's so funny. I'm sorry for the email. I didn't realize I sent it to you.
I'm happy to write Kate and get that going.
Okay.
Do we have a month? So Holly Hall is going under renovation starting in February,
January then.
January.
She said winter, right? So yeah.
She said winter or spring. Yeah, that's a great point. Good
Okay.
catch.
So. Okay.
Otherwise, she could do it in here. I've seen like 65 people in this room, but it's not pretty.
I mean, there's gotta be other,
65 people
Yeah,
in here.
yeah. It was madness.
Standing
there's
room
gotta
over
be other.
It was
places
like, it was.
that we could do too,
It was a
like
select board meeting.
the
I was
elementary
really good.
school or.
Oh,
Right, I bet we
you
could,
know,
yeah,
Like the.
the
yeah,
gym or something, yeah.
there's
But-
also Howden Hall is available.
Yeah,
Where
What
did you
was
say?
that?
The basement of Howden Hall is available for meeting space too.
Absolutely.
What's that like?
I haven't been in there since
The
the
basement?
brownies. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Everything's bigger than it is now.
In the town was big enough to have something like Girl Scout troop. Must have been nice.
I'll be there on Tuesday. I could walk downstairs and let you know.
Wow, interesting. You got a busy mother.
Well, the Five Town Friends of the Arts, they meet there. The opposite Tuesday that we meet on the Thursdays.
Kristen, do you know how big it is down there?
Yeah, I mean, it would fit 65-ish, probably, maybe. I don't know.
Saying this,
It's a
65.
bigger space than where you're sitting now. But what I don't know is how many chairs would be available.
Yeah, we had a select board meeting here one time, the natural gas meeting.
Oh,
remember?
yeah. Yeah.
Like people reamed in. So the next time they had that meeting, it was like, I don't know, 100, 200 people, and it was upstairs, because it was like,
Yeah.
it was a fire hazard, people were just cramming in the room. That was wild.
I don't know how they didn't anticipate that the natural gas thing would get a lot of people.
They didn't see, it was nuts, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'll reach out to her and see if she feels like January would work. Otherwise, and let her know that we can
Yeah.
find other places if it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it'd be easiest for us to do it in January, is the sense I get, right?
So, I mean, yeah, if it's like late January, nothing else is going on.
Right.
People
yeah.
might actually come out and.
Bored. Like, I have something to do.
Um,
We check with Aiden that it's available though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fall for January or in Holly Hall. Right, or in spring, but somewhere else, and we just, that she knows we have like the question mark of where to go.
Mhm.
It sounds like Houghton Hall might be an option, maybe the school,
Mhm.
maybe, isn't that a big meeting room in the fire department? That's a nice big room,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Mhm.
good point. That's a nice room. Yep.
Does that fit 50, maybe we're in
No.
the 65 range again, you
Yeah,
think?
more than that.
You think?
It's
Okay.
big, yeah.
I've only been there once a long time ago, not brownies,
My
but
friend's a firefighter, so
8 years ago,
we did Thanksgiving there a couple years back.
okay.
You can like rent it.
No, just my buddy's a firefighter and. On the Thanksgiving there. I don't know. It was low key, but it's like
Yeah,
3 of this rooms.
okay.
Oh,
That's
really?
certainly
It's that
better
big?
than-
Oh, okay, great.
Pretty
Okay.
big.
Okay, cool, I don't know if we're even allowed to use that space or not,
They
but.
like ask politely, I'm sure.
Well, it seems as though too, the
Be
talk is about, oh, I lost my email, but it seems as though it would be about, helping improve water quality. With, like getting properties ready for like avoiding like pre-disaster drill stuff almost too, if there's big flooding, what you can do, and that falls into their wheelhouse, right?
Pitch it like that if we have to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spin team.
Okay. So it sounds like we have options, that's like at least 4.
I didn't realize they're talking about so many
Viable
options, we didn't even talk about
options.
churches yet, and that's
Right,
definitely.
yeah, cause we did, the pollinator pathways does it at the church in Middlebury.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the churches are certainly set up for seating, if we approach them too, so.
Okay, cool, so since there's that, let's just do
There's
Holly
that.
Hall, it's easiest.
Mhm.
Holly Hall in January, or we have options we can pursue for spring. But that means you'll have to also ask Aiden about January, just in case. I thought you're right, I think it was February, wasn't it? For what day the hall was gonna close?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he said February.
Yeah, okay.
I just don't know like how,
Right, how much prep? is-
like booked up they are right up until then or not.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm, good call.
Mhm. It seems like if we're doing it during the week, they don't seem to be super booked up, so.
It's not on the
Especially this
website,
far
is
in
it?
advance. It is like when you then go on to select a date.
It is.
Yeah. It just like, basically you can select it and then select the date. I guess I don't know that it would tell you couldn't. But it
That's what I was
sort of
wondering, yeah,
suggests.
why don't you not do it right now?
Cause you're putting in a request, I guess. You're not
Right,
putting
I
it.
see, yeah.
Um. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
And I'm just checking my email to see if I have anything from Frida. I don't,
It's just a request.
don't see that. Okay. Okay, great, so then that brings us to the next, man, 2 really fast meetings in a row at this rate, is our November meeting, planning discussion. What do we wanna do for November? So it feels like November, hopefully we do some parks updates, we're gonna debrief the Bears, talk about water quality talk. Um, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about at that time? Maybe we could reschedule, Frida?
So Alex would love to come join a meeting sometime.
Great,
It
okay,
doesn't, so like if Frida can do next month, let's do her.
Okay.
And then Alex can come whenever.
yeah,
So,
does he have a topic?
yeah, so the 30 by 30 board that he is part of currently.
Can you explain what that is first?
So basically, they're charged with figuring out how to conserve 30% of land in Vermont by 2030.
Mm.
So one thing that has come to light for them in ways to do this is that for people to put easements on private property and conserve it themselves, it is extremely expensive. And most people can't afford to do it. So, because the legal fees, and then there might be other fees too, but basically it is, um. A lot of the land trusts around are constantly turning people down because. People will come to them and be like, I have this land, I want it protected, and they'll be like, you can't afford it, we can't afford it, it can't happen. So they're now starting to discuss trying to work with conservation commissions and other organizations to figure out how to cover those legal fees. And sort of, so like maybe the Conservation Commission could be part of the solution for like local landowners who want to put an easement on their own property.
Sounds like a good grants conversation.
It
Yeah.
does. Well, I'm hoping that before we move on to like events, we can just go back and talk about what things we might like to talk about with grants too, is a good use of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, so that's what he'd like to talk to us about, is
Yep.
that. Well, heck, let's find a time when he can, we'll see
Yeah,
if he.
so I mean,
can see it,
he can
do
come to
it.
any meeting, so.
Okay.
So if Frida can come next month, let's do Frida, and then he can
Well,
come in January.
what if they
sometime,
both
we can-
came though?
That, he could, yeah.
That could be,
fine,
we
too.
could help facilitate that conversation even
Mhm.
maybe.
Yep, we could do that.
Okay, that
Mhm.
sounds good. So that's the Alex event thing we're talking about. Beautiful. Okay, other things people would like to see us do or talk about? Anyone have anything that they're interested in? You want to invite someone to come speak? Whatever you want. I just, we had a pretty short meeting last time. We were supposed to have a long, I mean, obviously, like, it's not.
Right.
Obviously, she couldn't make it, and so that's exceptional, but I just wanna make sure, like, if we have things we wanna do, we can be doing them, you know? So we'll try to reschedule Frida, we'll try to get Alex in here. We'll talk about Lord's Park and Seth Hill in December, it sounds like. Other things on the horizon, anyone want to do anything, or anyone you wanna talk to? I invited, the new administrator, who I think is named Greg, but I'm not positive. He didn't reply. Porter Knight, I emailed to see if she had anything for us. She said that she always loves being in the loop, but she has nothing new to report to us at this time, but was happy that we reached out. And then at the same time, I contacted Frida, who said that she was enthusiastic about coming tonight. So those are people I've reached out to. Anyone had other ideas, the people you had something you wanted to talk about? If there was something we had a question about John Swapson for the tree warden, if we had questions about something with Meredith, we haven't talked to Meredith in a while. That's why I said, if there's anything you want me to do, I could do it, and then we could bring people into the meeting, that's all.
The only thing I was thinking was just getting an earlier start on the pollinator garden stuff.
Okay,
Than, the month before, like kind of happened last year or this year or whatever it is.
mhm,
So I don't know, but that was mostly I was just gonna do like basic research on it, and then I know there was that organization that does talks anyways, so trying to sort out availability and like who's already doing similar stuff around town. Um,
Okay,
so no, I was.
so I'll get that on the agenda for January, when I start up the green up day stuff in January, because that's when the new year hits, and that's when I get all the paperwork, so I'll just do pollinators there, so I'll have like both of those items
Yeah.
for January, is pollinators and green up. That'll be perfect. Well, yeah, just let me know if you think of things. Um. And then, maybe we could loop back and talk about, grants and questions we have on grants, things like that. Since we have a little bit of time. I don't know, oh, there's Nancy. Some of the things I hope to talk to the grants administrator about are, what successful grants have been secured by Bristol already. Like what kinds of projects get funded, so we just know how to even align with that office. Just to give us an idea of like what her experience is, like what is likely to get funded, that kind of like backstory a little bit. And then to find out, what are the current funding priorities at the state and federal level? What aligns with our mission, and then, how would we even apply for something, right? And so those are the kinds of things I was thinking of. Though I wasn't sure what other questions you had brought in that you were hoping to talk about today. Not that we maybe can answer them all, but we could just get a sense of like what that conversation looks like, so we're prepared for our next meeting. Or we can start throwing ideas around about like, oh, I would like to have more money for pollinators or money for easements, or if we sort of could have that conversation, that pre-conversations, we could have more productive conversation with her.
I think the question I had is like, is there a resource for finding what grants are available? So kind of the reverse of like, instead of saying we have a need, how can we fund it? Being more like, what funds are available for certain things? Can we make a need fit it?
Yeah.
Cause I know like, it's a little bit off, but like for RFPs and things like that, and I know for certain grants, they are listed on various federal or state websites or weird little niche areas that those types of people know about. So that's what I was gonna ask her specifically, is just if she knew about any of those that we could maybe kind of scour on our own time and then just kind of be like, hey, I came up with these 5 that might be a decent fit. But those are like resources that I don't.
Right,
know
how do you
how to
begin
find.
that? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know either.
Yeah, that's a
So-
great suggestion. I feel the same because I just don't know how any of it works. I think that would be a really great suggestion to get that kind of information. Is there a pot? Does the town have like a pot for grants, or like how does it work? I just do not know.
We can ask her like, how can you advise me on the appropriate amount for a grant request?
all of it.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Um,
I think one of the projects that we have that's sort of outstanding is how to deal with the bridge at Memorial Park. And
Yeah.
so one of the questions I had for her was just, could we put together maybe a task force in a way? Maybe, Porter's invested in that project and some members from our commission and her, just to start to brainstorm how we might cobble together a variety of grant funding sources to address that bridge, hopefully to remove it, but also then to find another way to access that waterfall and allow that park to be more fully used in a safe way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great reminder, that's good.
yeah, I was just up there a couple weeks ago. I stopped by as I was driving the kids around for a nap, and it's so pretty. Pretty.
It's a beautiful park. I wish we could. Yeah.
Like so striking. When I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like in our backyard.
Yeah.
Did we ever, Kristen, do you remember that grant we applied for several times in a row? There was like, it was gonna be, I forgot the acronym, but it was with the Parks Department and the Bristol Trail Network.
Yeah.
And try all the parks more visible, right? Did we ever
Was
get
it,
that?
no, was that the VOREC grant, VOREC?
Borak, yes. We never got that one.
I think we tried a few times.
Out of- Yeah, okay.
But you know, the grant landscape has changed dramatically in the last 8 months, and so it's possible there could be another avenue to
Yeah,
fund
totally,
that.
yes.
Maybe we look to a private source, you know,
Mhm.
a business or a collection of businesses or something. It'd be worth brainstorming.
Okay, so Memorial Park Bridge, what other things we want money for? Like, what if we were gonna like, what if we could do, well, like things, what we even want money for, right?
I
Like,
think
what we-
potentially the
easements.
conservation easement thing could be very interesting. I think you're right that having Alex here during that meeting would be interesting and also good for his board, which I think is trying to figure out how to piece these
Yeah.
together. So talking to a grant person could also be helpful.
Right, I don't know a lot about conservation easements. Kristen, I know you've done some land acquisition and things. Could you explain a little bit more about like what that entails, or what do you know about that sort of process? What would that look like?
Yeah, so historically, the Conservation Commission in Bristol has been approached by, for example, the Vermont Land Trust, when they have, like the Schwanier Farm was one example, where they had land to conserve and and so VLT, Alan Carnance, came to the commission and said, could the commission contribute to the fundraising for this conservation easement? And the fundraising can cover things like the legal expenses that you were mentioning. So there needs to be a title search. Usually there needs to be a survey. There needs to be permits if you're going to subdivide a piece of the parcel. Those all cost money. And so in the past, our conservation reserve fund that the commission oversees has been used to contribute towards some of those costs. Also a fair market appraisal needs to be done, or a conservation appraisal. And that's usually a couple $1,000s. Um, so VLT has approached us. Also, we've conserved the Saunders and the Fuller parcels with a partner of the Vermont River Conservancy. Same kind of deal. They came to us and asked if we could help, and we contributed money from the Conservation Reserve Fund towards some of those expenses with the approval of the select board. So yeah, we have been a very active partner in conservation easements in the past, and I think we could continue to be. And the Conservation Reserve Fund is quite healthy right now, and it's just been waiting for an opportunity. And the other thing I'll say is that the parcels that were easy to conserve, like that were very compelling projects, have already been conserved. And so now it gets harder and harder. And usually there are more complications
Right.
with parcels and opportunities. So
But if Alex and his team are kind of identifying those, right? If like their work is kind of
Yep.
identifying and like prioritizing, say, maybe like what's available, then it,
My guess is their scope is gonna be so broad that like narrowing in on, like, it would be our. Sort of more in our range to like think about Bristol.
To
You
like
know,
find
yeah.
like property owners specifically here.
Yeah, or like one thing that could be interesting is just to like put the word out there or like have a talk, like host talk about like how to conserve, how to make sure it is protected.
That'd be great.
Waiting for people to approach
Mm.
us, maybe the move should be to try to like put ourselves out there more as like, we are here.
Mm.
We can like, here are some ideas of
Mhm.
how to protect your land, cause like there's so many people that have, small chunks that maybe enough small chunks put together is, an important, you know, corridor or something, who knows?
Also defining it, right? Like for me, I don't like the difference between conserving the land and just not using it, right? Like for free, I could conserve the land by doing nothing,
Right,
right? Which is free to do
Mhm.
nothing, or say, okay, pay these fees and stuff to like, I guess. You're technically subdividing it and
mhm,
putting some sort of rules on it, or
It's mostly that, like you, as the landholder today, are willing to conserve your land, but putting a conservation easement actually protects it in perpetuity into the future. So if that parcel changes hands, that limitation passes along with the transfer of the property. So that's the main difference, is that the limitation on new development on that parcel is in force into the future, no matter who owns the property.
and then also, so that brings down the value of the land as well, cause obviously, cause you
Mhm.
can't sell it and
Yeah.
have it be subdivided, or, the next owner isn't gonna be able to do whatever they want. So the big hangup for over landowners is going to be, it takes down the value of their property, and maybe they're willing to swallow that so that the land that they enjoy and love will be protected forever. But then on top of that, they have to pay thousands of dollars in fees.
Mhm.
yeah.
So if we could take away
So the
those
ask
thousands
would
of
be for the
dollars in
legal
fees.
fees, not for the change in property valuation though, right?
No,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
so
just-
like,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you're willing to
Okay.
take that
Okay.
property value hit,
Mhm.
at least the legal fees, because it does sound like there are certainly people out there who would like to have their land stay the way it is.
Mhm.
Um, but who like can't afford to. So something to think about.
Cool, I mean, that's one of the number one reasons we have the Conservation Reserve Fund is
Right.
for the purposes of land acquisition, conservation easements.
Mhm.
Or interest in property that achieve the Bristol Town Plan's conservation objectives.
Right, it seems like, it's a
And it's
no-brainer.
$10,000 a year added to that, but yeah, we've been waiting for people to, like, big things to come up, but we haven't really. That I know of, like, pursued helping people, and if it would only be a few $1,000s each, that's 3 a year you could do,
I think it's, yeah,
right?
I think it's a little more than
Is it?
that would
Okay.
be, I guess.
It
But if,
can be quite costly, like, for example, to do the surveys and
Mhm.
Yeah.
the expenses add up.
So with 10,000, you could do 2 a year, 1 a year?
I think probably one or half.
One or
Half?
half of one, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, the survey at Saunders, because it was so complicated and was
The-
more than $10,000, just the survey.
Oh my,
Yeah,
okay.
I think
Yeah.
Alex said that one parcel that they were talking about was like $30,000 or
It's
something
like
like that.
something they charge for the survey, right? Like,
I don't know.
it's
Geez.
like per foot or some ridiculous, like like the longer your line is, the more expensive it is.
Wow, okay, I didn't
Right,
realize, okay.
so, yeah, so I mean,
So
so
not
that's a
that-
huge, but that's a huge hurdle for someone who
Yeah.
already is gonna be taking a hit. Is then not gonna conserve their land, they can't afford to.
Sure.
So if we could talk to, yeah, Frida about grants and
Mhm.
think about that sort of thing, then, and then put the word out there
Right,
that like. The Conservation Commission is willing to help, maybe host talks, put out information about like how you can conserve your land.
mhm.
Maybe, maybe
Yeah.
that would be a good move for Bristol, who knows?
Mhm.
Is that something that we could think about in terms of like leveraging like matching funds? Is that right? Is that what we've done in the past with Conservation Reserve Fund?
Yes, that's one of the primary roles of the Conservation Reserve Fund is to serve in that matching capacity. And then you can also do local fundraising. So for example, that gateway to the north of Bristol was conserved, the Far and the Fuller farms, where now the Gateway Farm is, and the other farm that's up by Tillerman there. That whole valley was conserved, and our Conservation Reserve Fund contributed some of the monies toward the appraisal and legal fees. But then there was a private fundraising that happened, an effort over 5 or 6 months maybe, and that was spearheaded by Vermont Land Trust. But many local community members donated to that project in order to offset the expenses of conservation for those homeowners or for those landowners.
That's cool.
So yeah, so we need to have something that was, but you, as you said, like the easy ones have been taken up, right? So
Yeah,
like what would be awesome enough to bother doing to get the community excited, or even granting agencies, which are fewer than they were 10 or 20 years ago, right?
And
We
maybe,
could-
maybe one of the things to do would be to. Yeah, we'll put the word out there so that landowners could come to us. So that we weren't necessarily just approaching landowners, but then also. Maybe talk to community trusts and see who has approached them. Are there things that have been on their radar that they've had to turn down, or. Let them know for future that we would like to
Mhm.
be part of it, and I don't know.
And Krista, how before people approached us, how does that work? Was it Vermont Area Land Trust that reached out, or is it?
yes. Often it was Al Carnatz at Vermont Land Trust that would come to me and bring, or to another member of our commission, because that's the other thing about these projects is in the early stages, they are kind of quiet projects because the landowner is still considering whether this is something they want to participate in or not. And you have to share very personal information about finances and so forth. And so often it's a one-to-one meeting for a few months until that landowner is comfortable enough for the project to be discussed in a public setting like a conservation commission meeting. And only then would it come before the commission and be discussed publicly.
Got it, okay.
Okay, so maybe we should talk to the land trust about just letting them know.
Yeah,
Participating, and how can we be helpful?
I think that's a great idea. Yep.
Okay,
Because they will be aware of projects that are brewing or possibly gonna come into.
Right, and it's
being. Yeah.
the funding landscape right now is bleak, then people aren't able to do some of these, and maybe we have that pot of money that could be useful then, not all of it, but for in kind or for matching. Right?
Yeah,
It's not a huge amount of money. If it's as expensive as you say,
But if you
Well, it
get,
would depend
if you
on-
get the grant as well, right? Like, in
Mhm.
theory, we could match grant money.
Yeah.
The private money, right?
right,
and fundraising is.
So many cookies to bake.
Thanks. Yeah,
cool, okay. Okay, cool, I felt that's productive, even if Frida wasn't here, we talked about a lot of good stuff.
well, now I think we also have a good direction.
Like we have
when
a lot
she
of
is
things to talk to her about, which I think is really nice, so I'll reach out to her, I'll get her another agenda. And we'll have a really nice jumping off place, I think, for a
Yeah.
conversation with her, which is really lovely. So that can be nice and productive. Anything else, anyone else wanted to add to that or to anything else? You feel good? Okay, great. So that leaves us, oh, you know what, we were joined by Gail. I hate to reopen old business, but Gail, I'm so sorry about this form and the select board and everything. We're still trying to get you in. I know that we've never had this problem before. We're having a regime change. And with the admin changing to a new person, so I think it's just some paperwork has gotten lost. I just got your form in our mailbox. I'm like, no, we don't need it. Like the select board needs it.
Oh,
So-
that's funny. I got a call from the someone in the Bristol Fire Department. Apparently I checked that box, but I didn't think as well as this. So I don't know what happened. But as far as the select board goes, he invited me to a meeting that I thought I could go to and then couldn't go to. And then the one that was this Monday, I thought I had told him I can come, but I guess I had sent the email to you, Carolyn, because it was like originally a group, I don't know. So I didn't know what was happening and then never heard from him. So I guess the next select board meeting, apparently I have to be at the meeting and at least on Zoom or something and say hi to
Okay.
them or something. So, and it's interesting about the application because I don't know if I checked the wrong boxes or something, but
Already were scared off joining, so I'm glad to see that you signed back on today. I was like, no, she's not here.
I actually got the time in my head wrong, to be honest. And then I was looking at the email, opened up the agenda and went, oh, shoot, I guess I'll come on. Sorry about that. I set the time in my head wrong.
No, okay, cool. Well, we'll just stay in touch. Just email me if you know you're gonna be on the select board agenda, just so I can keep track. That'd be helpful. Then I know if I need to step in and say like, seriously, like, just let her in the concept, just sign the box, you know, or we'll check the box, sign the line, whatever. So that'd be great. We just wanna make sure we get all those ducks in a row.
Okay, thanks, Carol.
Okay, sure, good. Sorry, that's been a little fraught. Okay, and now, although it's been an insane loop-de-loop of an agenda, I hope we've made some sense of it. How do you feel about all that, Zaylee? Are you good?
Good.
Okay, great. So our next events, under events, the next event will be the Bear Talk in High Hall, 7 p.m. on October 21st. Our next meeting will be November 13th, at 6 to 7:30. Sort of our normal thing, in person with a Zoom option. And we talked about a few things we're gonna talk about, and we'll invite you for a future meeting. I'm really glad we got to talk about all that, actually, it was lovely.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, cool, are we good then? Should we make a motion? Okay, great, would anyone like to make a to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Anyone will second that?
Second.
Great, all those in favor?
I,
The meeting is adjourned, thank you,
voice.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, everyone.